Hey guys, welcome back to AlgoYogi. Array and hashing series is what we are doing right now, and our next problem in the list is Kth distinct string in an array. So let's go to LeetCode. Okay, we're right here. A distinct string is a string that is present only once in an array. Obviously, given an array of strings array and an integer k, return the kth distinct string present in this array. If there are fewer than k distinct strings, return an empty string. All right, very clear. Note that the strings are considered in the order in which they appear, so basically from left to right. And once you find that kth distinct string, return that. If you don't find it, then just return an empty string. So really simple. Here we have taken the first example. So what we are trying to find is a kth distinct string. So for one string to be distinct, I need to check in the remaining array if there is no other copy of this. So what we can do, a brute force solution would be, I go to each index, and then for that string I go and check in the remaining strings if basically if that's present. If that's not present, so basically D right here is just one copy, so it's not present in the remaining strings. So that is why what I'll do is I will reduce this k to k minus 1, so it will become 1 now, because I've seen this one distinct strings, but I cannot return this, right? I'll go next because I need to return the kth string, so second distinct string. Or you can, in simple way, what would be best is, rather than doing that, let's just store it. It's a brute force solution. You can use as much space and time complexity as you want. So I'll just say, I'll just create this distinct string array, and for each string, if that's not present, I'll add it to my my array. Is B distinct? No, it's present right here, so that is why this is not distinct. Is C distinct? No. Is A distinct? Yes. Now I will return basically kth element from this distinct, so I will return A. So my answer is A. That is my answer. That's the brute force solution, which will be of time complexity big of n square, because you are visiting for each element, you are visiting the remaining array to check if this is distinct. So here we can bring down the time complexity if we introduce a little bit of space, right? Introduce a little bit of space. What we'll do is I will create a dictionary that will store the frequency of these all of these strings. So I'll just call it frequency, and it will store for each element what is their count. So these are keys, and in Python you can just use directly counter, or you can create your own dictionary, or in other languages you can create hash maps, but store the frequency of each of these strings. So for D it's 1, for B it's actually 2, for C it's actually what is it? For C it's 2, and then for A it's 1. Now, since it's a known fact, by the way, although there have been a lot of ordered dictionary, they have been introduced in Python, but like if we go from the old convention, then a hash map wasn't designed to store the key value in order, right? They don't store in the order. Now they do in in a lot of languages, but they weren't designed that way. So what we'll do is we will visit all these, use a for loop for this particular string, let's say s in air, and if basically in my fric the count of this s is equals to 1, that means it's a distinct, then I will reduce my k by 1, and if this k equals to 0, that means this is the string that I should be returning, right? I should be returning, this is the kth string, so I will just return basically this s. Otherwise I will return empty string. That is our entire solution, guys. That is our entire solution. And here the time complexity is big of n and space complexity is also big of n. Had to do it to bring down the time complexity. We had to introduce a little bit of space, because that's how you know what's the count of each of those string. So let's go to LeetCode and write the solution. So as I said, I will have a frequency map which will give me the count. In Python, easily it's done like this. Then what I'll do is for I in range, or you know what, you can just visit it like this, array, and if this in my frequency, if the count of this string is actually equals to 1, that means it's distinct, then I can reduce my k by 1. And if my k becomes 0, that means this is the string that I had to return, right? So I will just return this s, current s. Otherwise, I will return empty string. That's it. Let's zoom out, submit it, and voila, best solution ever. Best solution ever. Time complexity is going to be just like we discussed, big of n, and same goes for space complexity, not dollar. Space complexity is big of also n. Awesome. So let's go to AlgoYogi, mark this problem solved, and see you guys later in the next problem. Bye bye.